And as they did eat, Jesus took bread and blessed it and broke it and gave it to them and said, "Take, eat. This is my body." And he took the cup, and when he had given thanks, he gave it to them. And they all drank of it. And he said unto them, "This is my blood of the new covenant, which is shed for many. Truly I say unto you, I will drink no more of the fruit of the vine until the day that I drink it new in the kingdom of God." And when they had sung a hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives. And Jesus said to them, "All you shall be offended because of me this night. For it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered. But after that I am risen, I will go before you into Galilee." And Peter said unto him, "Although all should be made to stumble, yet I will not." And Jesus said unto him, "Truly I say unto you, that this day, even in this night, before the rooster crows twice, you shall deny me thrice." But he spoke the more vehemently, "If I should die with you, I will not deny you in any way." Likewise, they all said. And they came to the place which was named Gethsemane. And he said to his disciples, "You sit here while I go pray." And he take with him Peter and James and John, and began to be sore amazed, and to be very heavy. And he said to them, "My soul is exceeding sorrowful unto death. Wait ye here, and watch." And he went forward a little, and fell on the ground, and prayed that, if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. And he said, "Abba, Father, all things are possible for you. Take away this cup from me. Nevertheless, not what I will, but what you will." And he came and found them sleeping, and said to Peter, "Simon, you sleep? Could you not watch 1 hour? Watch ye and pray, lest you enter into temptation. The spirit truly is ready, but the flesh is weak." And again he went away and prayed, and spoke the same words. And when he returned, he found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. Neither did they know what to answer him. And he came the third time, and said to them, "Sleep on now, and take your rest. It is enough. The hour has come. Behold, the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise up, let us go. Look, he that betrays me is at hand." And immediately, while he yet spoke, came Judas, one of the 12, and with him great crowds with swords and clubs from the chief priests and the scribes and the elders. And he that betrayed him had given them a sign, saying, "Whosoever I shall kiss, the same is he. Take him and lead him away safely." And as soon as he came, he went right away to him and said, "Master, Master," and kissed him. And they laid their hands on him, and they took him. And one of them stood by, drew a sword, and struck the servant of the high priest, and cut off his ear. And Jesus answered and said to them, "Have you come out as against a thief, with swords and clubs to take me? I was daily with you in the temple, and you took me not. But the scriptures must be fulfilled." And they all forsook him and fled. And there followed him a certain young man, having a linen cloth cast about his naked body. And the young man laid hold on him, and he left the linen cloth and fled from them naked. And they led Jesus away to the high priest, And with him were assembled all the chief priests and the elders and the scribes. And Peter followed him afar off, even to the palace of the high priest. And he sat with the servants and warmed himself at the fire. And the chief priests and all the council sought for witness against Jesus to put him to death, and found none. For many bare false witness against him, but their witness did not agree together. Thank you. And there arose certain which bared false witness against him, saying, We heard him say, I will destroy this temple made with hands, and within 3 days I will build another made without hands. And neither did their witness agree together. And the high priest stood up in the middle and asked Jesus, saying, Do you answer nothing? What it is these testify against you? But he held his peace and answered nothing. And again the high priest asked him and said to him, Are you the Christ, the Son of the Blessed? Jesus said, I am, and you shall see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of heaven. Then the high priest ripped his clothes and said, What need do we have of further witnesses? You've heard the blasphemy. What think ye? And they all condemned him to be guilty of death. And some began to spit on him, and to cover his face, and to buffet him, and to say unto him, Prophesy. And the servants struck him with the palms of their hands. And as Peter was beneath in the palace, there came one of the maids of the high priest. And when she saw Peter warming himself, she looked upon him and said, And you also were with Jesus of Nazareth. But he denied it, saying, I know not, neither understand what you say. And he went out on the porch, and the rooster crowed. And the maid saw him again, and began to say to them that stood by, This is one of them. And he denied it again. And a little after, those that stood by said again to Peter, Surely you are one of them, for you are a Galilean, and your speech agrees with this. And he began to curse and to swear, saying, I know not this man of whom you speak. And the second time the rooster crowed, and Peter called to mind the word of Jesus, that Jesus said to him, Before the rooster crows twice, you shall deny me thrice. And when he thought on this, he wept. And straightway in the morning, the chief priests held a consultation with the elders and the scribes and the whole council, and bound Jesus and carried him away and delivered him unto Pilate. And Pilate asked him, Are you the King of the Jews? And he answering said unto him, Thou sayest it. And the chief priests accused him of many things, but he answered nothing. And Pilate asked him again, saying, Do you answer nothing? Behold, how many things they testify against you. But Jesus yet answered nothing, so that Pilate was amazed. Now at the feast he released unto them one prisoner, whosoever they desired. And there was one named Barabbas, which lay bound with them, that had made riot with him, who had committed murder in the riot. And the multitude, crying aloud, began to desire him to do as he had ever done unto them. But Pilate answered them, saying, Will ye that I release unto you the King of the Jews? For he knew that the chief priests had delivered him because of envy. But the chief priests moved the people that he should release Barabbas unto them. And Pilate answered and said unto them, What will ye then that I shall do unto him whom you call King of the Jews? And they cried out again, Crucify him. Then Pilate said unto them, Why? What evil has he done? And they cried out the more exceedingly, Crucify him. So that Pilate, willing to content the people, released Barabbas unto them, and delivered Jesus, when he had beaten him, to be crucified. And the soldiers led him away into the hall called the Praetorium, and they called together the whole band, and they clothed him with purple, and they twisted a crown of thorns and put it on his head, and began to salute him, Hail, King of the Jews! And they struck him on the head with a reed, and did spit upon him, and bowing their knees worshipped him. And when they had mocked him, they took off the purple robe from him, and put on his own clothes on him, and led him out to crucify him. And they compelled one Simon, a Cyrenian who passed by, coming out of the country, the father of Alexander and Rufus, to carry his cross. And they brought him onto the place Golgotha, which is being interpreted the place of a skull. And they gave him to drink wine mixed with myrrh. But he received it not. And when they had crucified him, they divided his clothing, casting lots upon them, which every man should take. And it was the third hour, and they crucified him. And the superscription of his accusation was written over, The King of the Jews. And with him they crucified two thieves, the one on the right hand and the other on his left. And the scripture was fulfilled, which says, And he was numbered with the transgressors. And they that passed by railed on him, wagging their heads, saying, Ah, you that destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself and come down from the cross. Likewise also the chief priests, mocking, said among themselves with the scribes, He saved others, himself he cannot save. Let Christ, the King of Israel, descend now from the cross, that we may see and believe. And they that were crucified with him reviled him. And when the 6th hour was come, there was darkness over all the land unto the 9th hour. And at the 9th hour, Jesus cried with a loud voice, saying, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani, which is being interpreted, My God, why have you forsaken me? And some of them that stood by, when they heard it, said, Behold, he calls for Elijah. And one ran and filled a sponge full of vinegar and put it on a reed and gave him to drink, saying, Leave alone. Let us see whether Elijah will come to take him down. And Jesus cried with a loud voice and gave up the spirit. And the curtain of the temple was torn in two from the top to the bottom. And when the guard which stood over against him saw that he so cried out and gave up the spirit, he said, Truly, this man was the Son of God. When the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James and Salome, had brought sweet spices that they might come and anoint him. And very early in the morning, in the first day of the week, they came unto the tomb at the rising of the sun. And they said among themselves, Who shall roll away the stone from the door of the tomb? And when they looked, they saw that the stone was rolled away, for it was very great. And entering into the tomb, they saw a young man sitting on the right side, clothed in a long white garment. And they were afraid. And he said unto them, Do not be afraid. You seek Jesus of Nazareth, which was crucified. He is risen. He is not here. Look on the place where they laid him. But go your way and tell his disciples and Peter that he goes before you into Galilee, and there you shall see him, as he said unto you. And they went out quickly and ran from the tomb, for they trembled and were amazed. Neither did they say anything to any man, for they were afraid. And when Jesus was risen, early in the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had cast 7 devils. And she went and told them that she had been with him, as they mourned and wept. And they, when they had heard that he was alive and had been seen by her, believed not. After that he appeared in another form unto 2 of them as they walked and went into the country. And they went and told it unto the rest. Neither did they believe them. Afterward he appeared unto the 11 as they sat at dinner, and corrected them for their unbelief and the hardness of heart, because they believed not them which had seen him after he had risen. And he said unto them, Go ye into all the world, and preach the gospel unto every creature. He that believes and is baptized shall be saved, but he that does not believe shall be damned.